Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did this by my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get him, I got him, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings, I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty talking about old. I'm on they now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. It's trash now, I'ma spaz out. I've been killing my lows and living on highs. You see in the sky's the proof. You could just see in my eyes that there is no lies. I cannot disguise the truth. I've been duck dog, getting in my new merch, color duck sauce on the new couch with my Chucks on. Get the on with that hate. I'm big cool on the small chat, cause I know now that I'm all that. Got a hawk guy on the ball cat, get the out of my face.
Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
Paradigm Shift TV 314. DMG the poet. The best. Trust me. Any type of knowledge you need, anything you want to see, check them out. Paradigm Shift TV 314. Peace.
Hey, look. Labels blowing up my line and got me missing calls. Told her you ain't gotta hit me till you licking. Feel like ZVF, baby, I be cooler than the mink weather. Make a Coke bottle, give me brains till I think better. Back up on my again, hanging out with Benjamin. Franklin got me stankin' in the Lincoln, talking dividends. Look at what we did again.
Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, DMG the Poet, a.k.a. Brother Pianki. And y'all know what it is. We are back with a powerful show with another powerful guest. Now, before we get into our spiel, you know I got to do my usual greeting. I want to say God bless to all my Christian brothers and sisters. Hotep to all my Kemetic brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Islam to all my brothers and sisters in the Moorish movement. I want to say peace to all my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth, them 5%ers. I want to say shalom or shalom to all my Israelite brothers and sisters. I want to say what's up to all my atheist brothers and sisters. Shout out to all my Abo brothers and sisters. Last and certainly not least, I want to say what's up to all my Rasta brothers and sisters. And finally, I want to say Jambo to the rest of my brothers and sisters all throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you're black, I'm with you, and I hope that you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. We can have unity without uniformity, and we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. With that being said, my man, the Fit Barber, please introduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? I'm the Fit Barber. My name Mike Conley. I just brother DMG. I had the pleasure of meeting the brother. It's been several months now. I feel like a few months,
Yeah.
And just real good brother. And we identify with being on the same mission. Like he said, loving black people. You black, I'm with you. And that's been my mission for as long as I can remember. So definitely like minds. Connecting, and that's it right there.
Yeah. I actually, so I was sitting on the parking lot one day. I had just got off work, and a lot of times I post up somewhere and just chill out, kind of decompress before I get to the crib. Sometimes you don't want to bring the madness of the day to the crib. So I'm on the parking lot, I'm chilling, and I see this brother, and I think I done told y'all before, I live in a predominantly clear people area, right? And so it ain't a lot of people that look like us. And so I'm like, man, that brother going in there, is that a barbershop? And he had his little daughter. I'm like, oh man, let me look this shop. So I looked the shop up. I'm not knowing if this is him or not, but I'm like, let me find this shop. Because for those who done bird with me on my facial hair chronicles and how I'm always messing up my beard, shout out to my brother in the GT. I'm gaining on you, bro. But for those who've been with me on that journey, I've been looking for somebody out here where I ain't got to travel all the way back to where I'm from to get my face trimmed up. And so I'm looking, I'm like, oh man, I hit my son like, son, I think we got a spot. So made an appointment, went in there, and me and the brother started talking.
Yeah.
My man then been to the African village and the whole demo. Like, so we talking about consciousness and the whole nine. So it was a perfect situation. So yeah, salute for that, man. So
right on.
So now you not only are you a master barber, but you also a personal trainer, right?
Yeah. Man, the fitness journey, it's been almost as long as the barbering journey. I've been a professional barber in 17 years, but fitness, it's roughly around the same thing. I wasn't doing it right in the beginning, doing like, the keto diets and trying different diets. And then when I realized diets don't have longevity, you got to make it a lifestyle. And at my biggest, I was 275. And, I ended up, through trial and error, trying different, workout regimens, different meal plans, and became a certified trainer in 2016. I owned the gym from 2017 to 2018. And it's been part of my lifestyle, and I've done every different type of nutrition plan, whether it's plant-based, whether it's like I say, or keto, where you're eating a lot of meats and fats. But once again, following the elders, Dr. Sabi, Dr. Africa, it kind of led me back to where I'm at now with being plant-based and, really understanding, like, focus on health over fitness. Because I think a lot of times we focus more on fitness, trying to get the abs, but it's like if you focus on your health, then fitness gonna come in alignment with it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now,
Yeah, I think I told you I dropped like 60 pounds. I was like 350, 345, and I'm down to, well, I'm 285 now, but I got all the way down to like 275. But of course, you gain a little back. Yeah. And that was tough. And then even like I wanted to get to like 240. And that's been it's been a real struggle getting down there. But recently my whole household has switched things up, because even going back to the doctor with me losing all that weight, they said I was pre-diabetic. Then my daughter, she's only 19. And if you look at her, you would never even think. But her doctor told her she was pre-diabetic. Wow. So it's like, okay, full stop. We about to, you know what I mean? Because all four of her grandparents, my both of my wife's parents are diabetics. And so we definitely don't want that in her future. You know what I mean? So everybody just hit the pause button and reset. And now we all kind of forming Voltron to do it a little bit different, or a lot different, I should say. So, and I was telling them some of the things you shared with me, because my son, I told you how he get up and work out every morning. He was concerned about, getting that protein intake. So because you spoke about Dr. Sebi and some of the other elders, like Dr. Layla Africa, for example. What do you say to people who say, their information is pseudo, it's not viable, etc.?
Man, I think that people that say that, they haven't lived the lifestyle. It's easy to say that when, you scared to more so jump off the porch and dive into their lifestyle, but like, to me, the proof is in the pudding. When you dive into that lifestyle and start eating plant-based and just watch how your body recognize the foods, and over time, and then try to go back and eat, how you have been eating. Oh man, but even beyond that, especially, Dr. Sebi is kind of how, when I got introduced to Dr. Sebi's work, it was about 2012. And that's when I stopped eating beef. I stopped eating pork back in '08, but I stopped eating beef, stopped drinking cow milk. And Dr. Sebi, of course, he more so was, like, oh, I don't read books. Who needs books? He was kind of like that. But Dr. Africa, when you really read his books and understand his background in that field, but even then, I really take, it really does something to me to see somebody in the conscious community try to dispute they works when, we see that, it's like, how can you not listen to Dr. Africa, Dr. Sebi, and what they talking about, but then you listening to, this person in this suit, or not suit, but this white coat, and following everything they telling us, but they don't tell you how to eat. When you go to the doctor, they practice medicine, so they giving you like pharmaceutical medicine. And even understand that we're in a capitalist society to where that's $1 trillion industry. So low key, they the drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? They gonna sell you the drugs. So to me, it's just it don't even make sense for somebody to, say like, oh, I can't believe in this. It's like, dog, live the lifestyle first. And then, So
Exactly.
that's my thoughts on that one, man. That's crazy.
I feel you, because what me and my wife been discussing, man, like, you see these commercials and it's like, YouTube will get you for medical misinformation, right? So let me not say nothing too crazy, but you will see where they have a situation where they can treat something, right? That's incurable. They can treat it, and your partner can have it, and you can take a pill so you won't get it, but they ain't got no cure for it.
Right.
Or you can take a pill if you got something to keep you from having the symptoms, but ain't no cure for it.
Right.
Because ain't no, like, if they cure it, they can't make no more money off of it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, because if you can do all that, then you can just cure a thing. You would think.
Right.
But that's just me.
Yeah, that's that capitalism right there. They gonna keep making that money on it. I had a client of mine. She battled cancer 2 times, and she was telling me her insurance covered like $60,000 of her treatment, but she had to come out of pocket, or her bill was $85,000. And I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So your insurance cover, you still got to pay 85. So it's like, but when you think about what the industry is making off of that one person, you know what I'm saying? That and then she had cancer twice. So it's like, man, it's such a money racket. It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
And then that's like, my primary care tried to give me one of those shots, that everybody can get, and my insurance was like, nah. And so the out-of-pocket price for that was like $2,000.
Man.
And I'm like, I just rather do it the old-fashioned way.
Right.
You apprehensive about sticking yourself with something anyway. So it's like, I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, so he telling you I need it, so I won't become full, he said I'm free, so I won't become full. He say I need this. You my insurance, but you said nah, I ain't gonna give it to him.
Man, wow.
It's crazy, but
It
I
is.
know we not here to talk about health.
Yeah.
This is a controversial subject. Shout out to my brother Lord Banu, because I was telling you about Lord Banu debate and his stance that Black people don't have culture.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of sparked this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
What was it about that topic that sparked something within you to kind of let this theory bloom a little bit?
Well, when you first came and mentioned it to me, I had to let it. It did spark something, but I had to let it marinate. I definitely had to let it marinate for a second. I was like, man, but for years I've said that Black people struggle with cultural identity. You know what I'm saying? And that I do believe. But then when you told me about the debate, I'm like, we don't have a culture. When I really sit back and I dissect what culture is, and mind you, I'm from U City. I look at it like U City, the most diverse parts of St. Louis is U City and the South Side. If you want to see like diverse cultures, because in U City we got the Jewish community.
Yeah.
I grew up in the area that was like Chinatown, and then you
Okay.
go to the South Side, you got so many different so many diversities over there. When you think about Black people and having culture, and when you think about the word culture and the word cultivate, we don't have a culture, because a culture is supposed to protect those within it, and then also a culture is supposed to be cultivating something, but yeah, when you definitely dropped that on me, it sparked all these different thoughts and ideas. And I even did a little research, and then I came out with, we were just talking about the health industry and all of that. And you go to the doctor with symptoms, and then they diagnose you. And my diagnosis is Black people had cancer, not culture. We've been diagnosed. We got cancer. We don't have culture. And I think we say culture for lack of a better word. Like Big Kendrick fan, but he said, I'm with the culture feeling. And I think people can gravitate to that because, it's like we like to think that we have it, because I will say that Black people have adopted a way of life. And I think that's what we hang on to and think is our culture. It's an illusion, but we've adopted a way of life. So by adopting a way of life, it can make you think that you have a culture. It's almost like if you loan me your car, I start tinting the windows, putting rims on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm riding around in it for a couple of years. It's still your car. It's not mine. I've just come to think that I have a sense of ownership of it. But in any facet of, Blackness, whether it's our finances, our health, our education, like nothing about it, our entertainment, like we don't have anything that we produce and own and can call ours. So yeah, we got cancer. We don't have a culture. That's part of my take.
So now it's gonna be some people who gonna come for you now. So
Man.
because you gave me a lot to think about with this,
Uh-huh.
because I've always said, well, we created our culture out of thin air, like the
Okay.
remnants of what we brought over from the motherland, plus what we developed here, that became our culture. You didn't kind of flip that on his ear, so to speak. So now, what do you say for what we've created here out of out of nothing, basically, because we were stripped of a sense of self, stripped of our identity, stripped of all our social mores, ways, and all of that. And we sort of had to redevelop those things from scratch with whatever remnants we can sort of gather from the motherland. So if that's not culture, like hoodoo, you know, my grandmother had this thing where she wanted a man to be the first person to enter her house on New Year's Day. And you know, she made black eyed peas and neck bones on New Year's Day. My wife's do it to this day. Things like that. If that's not culture, then what is it?
It's and peace, love, and light to grandmother. You know what I'm saying? I know my grandmother had, you know, like you said, the black eyed peas and all of those things. I think that was black people, like you say, trying to hang on to certain customs. You know, like I say, we've adopted a way of life, and like I say, certain customs, and we are creative. We're the most creative people on the planet. You know, so even having customs isn't necessarily culture, because to me, when I think of culture, I think of black people doing something on a collective scale. And, you know, I know for even in St. Louis, there are certain things that we do here in St. Louis that is part of like a St. Louis custom, but black people all around the country ain't doing it. So even with the black eyed peas, a lot of our elders taught us to eat the black eyed peas on New Year's Day. Every black person ain't doing that. And even then, that's a custom, but that's still not a culture, because I look at it like a culture is, you know, like I said, when you think about the Jewish community, for one, black people are another. So stepping back a little bit, part of my belief in us not having culture is because I don't believe that black people have communities. You know, we don't even have communities. So it's almost like you know, a community is important, you know, because think of a community like a garden. You know what I'm saying? When you have a garden, you got a fence, you can protect it, you got a barrier, and you control what's in the garden, what come out of the garden, what you grow. Right now, the way I see what we growing, it's almost like you come to my house and I got a couple of plants up in the windowsill. I'm like, I got a tomato here, some corn. That's not a garden. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we've planted seeds and we've made some progress. But as a collective, having a culture, the reason I say it's cancer, because right now, what I personally think, can we cuss on her?
Yeah.
Okay. What I think we're cultivating with the cancer that we have is a generation of real niggas and bad bitches. And to me, that's not productive. That's not a culture. That's cancer, because what product are we gaining from that? We spiraling down, everybody else spiraling up. When you think about real niggas and bad bitches being the product of this quote unquote culture that we have, what does the next 20, 30 years look like for black people? But let's take the Asian community, the Chinese people, when they come to America, they set up shop in Chinatown. Ain't no little Africa nowhere, but you know, they set up they shop. They can kind of project what the Asian outlook looks like for the next 20, 30 years or the next 2, 3 generations. Right now, I'm sure most black people like myself, my heart go out. I don't know what our next 2, 3 generations is gonna look like. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have a culture. You know what I'm saying? It's like a football team without a playbook. You know what I'm saying? We don't. What are we doing? We freelance. We out here like a game of bucket. You know what I'm saying? We ain't running no plays. We don't have an agenda. You know, right now, you know, with every other, even I would even go as far as saying the alphabet community has more of a culture than black people alone. Granted, it's black people in that community, but right now, if you went to someone in that community, they have a flag, they have an identity, they have an agenda. Right now, if the next presidential elect came and said, okay, first off, I want to talk to the black community, who they gonna talk to? Cardi B? Meg Thee Stallion? You know what I'm saying? Then not only that, if they say, okay, what's the black agenda? What can we do to help black people progress? We don't know. But with the Jewish community, I guarantee you they having these meetings, and it's not the entertainers, Jerry Seinfeld not going to meet up with the president. They have people in alignment that are a part of their culture that says, look, this is how we gonna move the culture and progress. Like I say, they can project what the next 2-3 generations of their lineage looks like. With us, we can't do it. We don't, like I said, we don't have communities. Another thing was if black people have a culture, we've had culture. Look at Kemet, that was a culture. You know what I'm saying? We've had cultures all over this globe, but with all the melanated indigenous people that we've had, but right now in today's time, black people in America, we don't even have a rites of passage. What's the milestone for our young men to say, okay, you're no longer a young man or a boy, you're now a man? What do the little girls have to say? You're no longer a little girl, you're a woman. When you have a culture, you can have those rites of
So like
passage.
a bar mitzvah or something like,
Right.
Okay,
The
I got
Mexicans
you.
had a quinceanera. If you 15, you
Yeah,
basically having the
yeah,
I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but a quinceanera, with a 15-year-old celebration.
yeah.
Like you said,
Shout out to my
13.
brother Jay Fax with the $50 super chat. My
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So, that's one of my takes on it, man. Like I say, it's so many ways to dissect this thing, man. It's and then also real quick, if you Google and research, not just Google, but actually look up what a cancer cell is. And the reason I said cancer and not culture is because I wanted to shape it in a way that everybody could understand. Everybody has a body. So we all should have a decent understanding of what cellular structure is. And when you think about what cancer cells do in the body, that's exactly what black people are looking like when you think about the body of, the United States as a body, or just black people. If you look at like every black person in America as a body, right now we have cancer because, the cells are attacking each other. And
Mm.
we're not being productive, so yeah, we
So
not as a whole, there's pockets of us that are doing things, but in most of our inner cities, is not looking good for our young brothers and sisters out there right
So,
now.
so just to review, and we got my man Lord Benu, the brother who was debating that topic and who had the same stance as you. He is in the chat. I'm gonna put the link in the chat in a little bit, and
Okay.
you and him to build
Yeah.
first before everybody else start chiming in.
Okay.
But what's your stance on how has hip hop played a role in well, let me ask you this first. Have we ever had a culture during our time here?
No. No. No, because you know what they say, almost don't count. Don't get
Okay.
me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I just left Black Wall Street early in the middle of July. I was in Black Wall Street. I was on Greenwood, Archer, and Pine.
Okay.
I was there, ground zero. I talked to a brother who his great aunt was in the massacre. His uncle died
Mm.
saving his aunt. So I was just to give a vivid perception of where I was at, and right
Yeah.
there, that's one of, if not the most successful black economic infrastructure that black people have had in America that I know of. Looking at all the things they had, people heard about Black Wall Street, but being out there, going to the museum, seeing the businesses, they had private planes. Like, I mean, it was crazy. They had a lot of stuff going on. They were building what could have been a culture. But once again, thinking about cancer, thinking about the body, right now, anytime that black people are on the road to gaining a culture, the alphabet boys, whether it's CIA, FBI, whatever government entity we want to put in there, they put a virus, they give us a virus. You know, think about what happened with Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? Like anytime there's, black manhood being established and we having a movement and we progressing, they put a virus in there and it takes it out.
So
Look at
so the analogy you giving in is shout out to my man BY. He say DMG, why are you like this? I hate you. Hey B, those are strong words, man. Like I ain't never heard you talk like that, man. What's up, man? Hey, hit that link when we open up the chat, man. Hit that link. But it's and that's an interesting analogy though, because it sounds like what you're saying is whenever it's an antibody put into our community to sort of bring this thing together and start to create what could become a solidified culture.
Yeah.
It gets sabotaged.
It gets sabotaged. And even so, looking at the virus that went in with Malcolm Martin, remember the Black Panther Party?
Fred Hampton.
Like put a virus in there, boom, wipe that out. Then, and I'm gonna bring it down to the hip hop aspect. I'm just kind of going through the little timeline. Then you get the Black Panther Party out. Now on the backs of that, you got the formation of like Crips and Bloods and different gangs and say, you know what, we trying to do something in our community. And then a virus gets put in there, and then you fast forward to the birth of hip hop. And the thing is, another piece of that, I think that hip hop was beginning to like really ignite the spark of a way of life that could have been a culture, but even in that, we don't own it. My thing, I'm big on that. We can have a way of life all we want, but if we don't have ownership, and I think hip hop was a beautiful thing when you look back at, the 80s era, and then NWA came out. We saw the movie. We saw, Jerry Keller. We saw how they kind of intertwined in that. And then if you look at what hip hop or rap became now, it's more detrimental. And part of that is because if you have a culture, you can have something, you can protect it from outsiders coming in and taking over ownership. Right now, when I think about the Asian community, the Jewish community, any other ethnic community, the Mexican community, you're not gonna go out and do something that's traditionally theirs and have ownership in it. Or you're not gonna even, let's take a Jewish deli. If a Jewish person got a deli and they selling sandwiches, you're not gonna be the owner. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna be the front people and then you behind the scenes counting the money. But with us not having a culture, we don't have a perimeter to stop people from infiltrating. See, a culture also sets up a system of protection. Like we were just talking about nutrition at the beginning of the conversation. If we had a culture, black folks would be a lot healthier. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have a culture. We don't even know how to eat. You know what I'm saying? We still eating fish and chicken from the Arabs. They ain't even eating the food. You know what I'm saying? We going to the Chinamen. They ain't even eating the food they giving. They ain't eating this fried rice. But they got a culture. They know how to eat. See, your culture is beyond just saying, oh, this is our way of life. A culture is the lens in which you view yourself, your people, and the rest of the world. You want to see your culture on your plate. I guarantee anybody that say that black folks have a culture, they look at their plate, they dinner plate. They don't see nothing of what culture. Soul food ain't our culture. This unhealthy food ain't our culture. Those are things that was an adopted way of life. But to me, we don't see our culture on our plates. Going to the fish and chicken joint, or like I say, eating the Chinese food that they not even eating.
It's heavy you mentioned that though, because one of the first ways that I started to sort of come out of the fog, so to speak, was it's a sister. So I think I told you I'm from North County, grew up in Berkeley, lived in Florissant, and I'm at this beauty supply, black owned, and I'm talking to this sister, and she didn't have what I was looking for, but she told me she could order it. And so she telling me how the Arabs and the Asians have a monopoly on this business. And I knew she wasn't lying because I could go down the street to the Arab brother, and if he didn't have it, he'd call one of his other stores and hey, wait 5 minutes, wait 15 minutes, and they'll bring it to me. And so I'm like, dang, like how do we fix this? And she was like, don't know. She say, we go to a food spot, fish and chicken and fries, stuff that we like to eat. They selling it to us in our neighborhood. Chinese food place. They come to our neighborhood and enrich themselves. And we just let them do it. And I'm sitting there like, man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like I literally stopped going to like New York Grill and all of these different places.
Grill and all them.
Because at first, and like I told you, I was 350 pounds. So I'm going there, you get the big thing, however many chicken wings and a big thing of fries and damn near a loaf of bread and take it back to the family. And you know, I'm getting that probably a couple of times a month. And I'm like, she say, they basically selling us our death. And I was like, oh, like it hit me like a ton of bricks. That was one of the first real conversations I had with somebody about the state of our community. But go ahead. When you said that, it just reminded me of that conversation with that sister. And she lost that business too.
And that's another thing. Like if Black people had a culture, you would see a lot more, progress in the Black community. And that's why I say we literally, when they dismantle, it's such a crazy breakdown how it happened. I mean, you break down the community, you break down the Black family structure. For us to be in a position today where our community, our neighborhoods, I ain't gonna say community, our neighborhoods are struggling, really our hoods, because I think Brother Dick Gregory say, it was a neighborhood, but you don't even know your neighbors. You just got hoods. I look at it like the breakdown of the community, our neighborhoods being broke down, the family structure. How can we say that we have a culture when we don't have communities? And right now, the Black family structure is probably, to my knowledge, at one of the lowest it's ever been. And that's to my knowledge. When I think about our elders, our grandparents being together 60 years and all this, they had their issues or whatnot. It wasn't perfect, but right now, we don't even have community. So how can we have culture without community? So it's like, I really look at it like, to me, freelancing ain't culture. Most cultures have traditions. Black people, we have trends. You know what I'm saying? So that's another issue that I have. That's why even let's take a look at Black fashion through hip hop. In the 90s, what was we wearing? Fat Form, FUBU, Mecca, Aniche, all these Black brands. Carl Kanai, where they at now? Polo's still around. Tommy Hilfiger still around. Because Black fashion is, Black people are trendy. We get on trends. But when you think about Polo, right now, you can go buy a Polo shirt at the Polo store, cut it on Fresh Prince, Carlton wearing the same Polo. Because what has happened is, Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, they tapped into American tradition and became a part of the culture. So Timberland, Polo, Tommy Hilfiger, they're going to be around for another 30, 40 years. But FUBU, man, I ain't seen nobody in no FUBU shirt since 05.
You about 10 years younger than me, so but you probably still remember Cross Colors.
Oh man,
Carl Kanai, all of that, and like you said, it don't exist no more. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I think this the cancer over culture concept is just like, even when people are coming into like a level of consciousness, you know what I'm saying? It's really a blinding light, and it's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? Like when you coming into your consciousness, that's one of the hardest points of when you going from like whatever you've been studying to a new level of enlightenment. And like I say, I love black people, man. And I always have wondered, like, why is it that we the most talented people, like easily the most talented people, but in every corner of the earth, but especially here in America, somebody got their foot on our neck. Like we not dumb. And what it is literally we out here playing ball with no playbook. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about it when prime example, when you watching NFL on Sunday and the head coach talking to the coordinator, they're talking like this, covering their mouth up because they talking plays. They saying, look, this is what we about to do. With us, we don't have a playbook. So anything we talk about is out in the open. We scrambling. We in a 2-minute drill. We just running plays, trying to score. You know, and it's one of them things like we really moving forward, if we want things to change, you know, I did kind of in the beginning, you gave a shout out to every part of the diaspora because, like you say, whatever you believe shouldn't trump us having a culture. You know what I'm saying? But right now, man, it ain't looking good. You know, everybody in their own little corner doing their thing, and it's divide and conquer. You know, I think, man, we got to get that playbook going.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. Like, even though I shout everybody out, and a lot of people they respect that I shout everybody out, everybody still is stringently within the own confines of a particular ideological stance. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my Hebrew brothers, they rock with you, but at the end of the day, they want you to eventually be one of the Hebrew brothers. Yeah. My Kemetic brothers, they rock with you, but they eventually want you to be one of the Kemetic brothers, etc., so forth and so on. And so it's kind of like, when we gonna get to the point where we really can say we can have unity without uniformity for real, and put that into action. You know what I mean? And we can stop being so inflammatory towards one another. But I guess that's part of the process. You know what I mean? Like when you forming a blade, you gotta go through that part where it's hot and you're hammering it and you're forming it. I guess that's that process. And we at that point right now. So let me, I know you, because a lot of times when I come in the shop, y'all watching the Olympics and stuff like that. Simone Biles is the GOAT in her particular field of sport, gymnastics. Why is it you think, despite her being the GOAT, people still want to talk about her hairstyle or the way she looked? And does the lack of culture from your perspective play a part in that? Because we don't really hear about that when it comes to like with Tom Brady, he considered the GOAT. We hear about how good looking he is, right? But we don't hear about the critiques on his personal life per se. And this is a man who I think he twice divorced or something like that. Yeah. Children out of wedlock, the whole demo. But we mostly hear about him on the field, despite the few, the missteps off the field. Yeah. But with the sisters and the brothers, we ain't gonna even get into LeBron and how scrutinized he is. Right. Why is the lack of culture? Does that factor into the equation?
Oh man, big time. Because like I said, to me, culture, when a people have a culture, they have like I like to think of it as like an immune system. Or like I say, that system of protection. When you think to me, that first, and then also let me ask this question real quick. Who's talking about her? Is it, is it us talking about the hair, or like that's another issue, because a lot of us lacking that culture has self-hate. You know what I'm saying? So that could be a part of it then too. Just mainly just not having that system of protection, I think, is the ultimate reason, why Black people are able to just be disrespected. Like, I think that's because when you think about any other group, if she was, let's say, like I say, of Jewish, then you say anything about her, you anti-Semitic. you know, or let her have been, you know, LGBT. Oh, you homophobe. Or, you know, let her be Asian. Oh, it's Asian hate. So with us lacking culture, we don't have that barrier of protection. And, you know, for years we haven't been able to protect, whether it's been physical harm or just people talking crazy about, you know, people within our community because they know we can't do nothing about it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's yeah.
My sister's not a black, same mama, same daddy, as I always say. She said because she's black, black women are constantly disrespected more than any other.
Yep, yep.
And when me and you talk about all the time our love for black women,
Yeah.
and we both talk a lot about protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we in this culture now where men like me and yourself are called simps for that particular stance.
Yeah.
What role does the lack of culture play into this now this stance where if you a black man who values black women, now you a simp, now you a sucker, etc. And you know it's popular to put down black women and to quote unquote call them out on they uh in insufficiencies, so to speak, and all of these type of things.
Yeah, it plays. I think it plays 100% of it. The reason being because when we talk about what manhood is and what a man does, like I said, look at the Jewish community. At 13, you have a bar mitzvah, you a man. In our community, you know, I'm gonna be honest, growing up, it was like you wasn't a man until, you know, you might have went out and got some. Like our measuring stick for what manhood is so imbalanced because there is no culture in place saying, look, this is manhood. You know, so with that being said, I think it plays 100% into guys that are adult males. Because I tell people all the time, just because you're a male don't mean that you're a man, or just because you're a female don't make you a real woman. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think with there being a lot of adult males not really knowing what manhood is or their measurement of what manhood is being on the wrong scale, when you get solid brothers like you and myself that want to protect, you know what I'm saying, to have a some sense of culture, then it's like I think that's where the attack come in at because they just ignorant, you know, they ignorant. So yeah, that I think it played 100% role in that.
Wow. Hey man, you done said a mouthful, man. You ready to open up this chat?
Go ahead, yeah.
All right, so hey family, listen. The first person I want to hit the link is Lord Banu. I want Lord Banu to hit the link, and then I'm gonna open it up for everybody else. So nobody hit the link except Lord Banu. I want Lord Banu to hit the link first because Lord Banu actually sparked this conversation between me and my brother. And then that led to him coming on the show. We actually been talking about this for a little bit over a month. So Lord Banu hit the link, and then I'll let everybody else know when they can jump in. But yeah, man, hey, I'm glad to have you on, man. We definitely gonna have to do a part two.
Oh yeah,
and we definitely gonna have to talk about the health aspect too, because like I said, it's a lot of people who look at particularly the eating as a negative thing. I remember when I first mentioned, you know, going vegan or vegetarian, and it was like, you don't want to go vegan. A doctor will tell you not to do that. And I was like, really? Because I didn't know that was, you know, that was a thing.
Yeah.
So, and I remember mentioning it to you, and you was like, no, that's not a thing. So, and my man, speaking of, you and him got a lot more in common than just y'all stance that black people don't have a culture. He is also a vegan.
Oh, that's
Lord, the one and only Lord Banu in the building. What's up with you, bro?
Peace, guy. How y'all feeling, man?
All right. What's going on?
Yo, I'm souped. You up here dropping them bombs, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right on.
Like, yo, it's an uphill fight, man, to get people to look themselves in the mirror, man, see like what's been done to them, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love the work you doing, bro. Like, you talking that talk right now. You hear me?
Yeah, right on, right on. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Like,
So, oh, go ahead, bro.
oh no, I was just agreeing with him. It is an uphill battle because I think like it's just been this illusion that people been fed that we have a culture, but I don't like I said, I don't think people truly understand what a culture is and how it operates. And primarily, I think that's because a lot of people like me, I've been fortunate enough to where my first job at 13 years old, I worked at a place called the Poshnash. It was a Jewish deli. So all of these things I'm thinking about culture, I wasn't thinking it at 13, but now that I'm 37 and I look back, I'm like, man, hold on. That was a whole, like looking at how they operate, I'm like, man, like that was like it was crazy. But I think a lot of people ain't had the privilege of being around different groups and like really thought about it. We just think, oh man, we got rap, got some brothers in the NBA, we got a culture. That ain't a culture.
Yeah. And one of my teachers, Nearly Fuller Jr., like one of his things he big on is being able to define terms and
Mm-hmm.
create terms. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And being that we're using a language that was, you know what I'm saying, put upon us,
Mm-hmm.
certain words might not describe certain things that we ancestrally hold on to, you know what I'm saying? So like, even the fact that the simple thinking of having a culture, they got a definition that they put in the dictionaries, but the United Nations got a whole nother definition of what it means, you know what I'm saying? And it's talking about things that was implemented into the black community, like the things that we value. You know what I'm saying? We not valuing things that are beneficial to us. We valuing things that are beneficial to another people, and it's not by accident, it's by design. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
oh yeah, yep. 100.
Yeah. So Lord Benu, I was telling him about the debate with you and A1, and I think I mentioned to him the debate you had with Leandre as well, and he
Right.
was like. He was like, yeah, you know what? I agree with the brother. So then when I came back the next week to get my trim, he was like, how did the debate go? And I was like, yeah, man, the brother lost. I was like, for whatever reason, the judges didn't agree with him. He was like, what? He was majorly disappointed. And then
Yeah.
he started working on his theory, and I watched it evolve from week to week. And I was like, hey, man, I got to get you on. So then this last time I went in for a trim, I was like, hey, man, look, we got to stop. Hey, I got to get you on. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
hey, we ain't playing no more. So yeah, and as you can see, the brother got it. He put a lot of thought into it, man. And whether people agree with it or not, it actually like what he's saying makes sense. You know what I mean?
It's right there in our face, man. And it's like we living off of it's like I always compare it to sports, because you know what I'm saying, we all men and we all, you know what I'm saying, involved, like watch sports or participated in sports, you know what I'm saying? And it's like a team that got all of the best players on it. You know what I'm saying? It got all of the best players. The history of when you go back of these players in the team is immaculate. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about building the pyramids and all of that, like, you know what I'm saying? And they just living off that instead of competing in the games that they got that's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? They living off past fame. They not playing organized. They but like the brother said, it ain't no playbook. It's just a bunch of people running around. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got anime black people, you got Christians, you got it's all over the place. You can't tell me who is the black community, because there's so many different groups of people and we so disorganized that you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
man.
even another piece in there, like I even going to our brothers from the continent, being here at the shop, I cut a lot of Nigerian brothers, a lot. And I've been in the shop and I've, introduced two Nigerian brothers that didn't know each other, right? And even they are brothers, but there's a cultural difference because we don't have a culture, they got one. When they introduce to each other, they get their name, and then something that I found intriguing, man, is like most brothers are, if not all, from Nigeria, they name means something. So when one Nigerian tells another Nigerian his name, he know what tribe he with. You know what I'm saying? And then like talking to him, one brother might be like, okay, I'm Yoruba or I'm Hausa. And even then, that lets them identify, like, okay, are we of the same culture, the tribe? But with black people in America, it's like we don't know. You know, that's why I think even here in St. Louis, people are like, oh, what high school you go to? Trying to find some sense of identity because we lack that. You
Mm.
know, and that's the main thing. Like, how do we identify who? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have no identity in that regards. And just even watching that simple thing play out, I'm like, yeah, man, we ain't got no culture, man.
And one thing about us that I find, and I think it's hilarious, but we disagree about everything.
Yeah.
And you from St. Louis, so you see you familiar with North County, so you know where Kinlock and Berkeley are, right?
Mm-hmm.
They right by each other. And so I grew up in Berkeley. Both of my parents are from Kinlock. So I put on Facebook, I said, if you grew up in Berkeley like me, but both sides of your family are from Kinlock, and for those who don't know, Kinlock was one of the first all-black cities in the United States, right here in St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm like, but your whole family, both sides of your whole family are from Kinlock. Do you say you from Berkeley or do you say you from Kinlock? Because they right adjacent to each other. And people take it so personal when you grew up in Berkeley, but you say you from Kinlock. And I'm like, y'all bugging, but they take it so personal, bro. Like, I'm like, man, my god sister got on there and was like, you from Berkeley. And I'm like, I know, I say I'm from Berkeley, but what if I did say I was from Kinlock? So what? Like, my whole family from Kinlock.
Yeah.
So, like, some of my family be mad that I don't say I'm from Kinlock. But like, we just disagree on the silliest stuff. But we got my man. Peace. What's up with you, bro?
Hey, what's going on, family? How's everybody doing tonight?
You got it.
How's my audio?
Loud and clear, brother. Loud and clear.
This is the one and only Mudiwa Mugabe, often imitated, always hated. It's still me. So,
Hey, threw me off with the Bugs Bunny joint. That's why I was like,
yeah,
who is that here?
Fact. I'm like, who that, man? Move the wild peace, God.
You threw me off. I was like, wait a minute. It say Mugabe, but I don't know if this. Somebody, I thought you know how a certain somebody be pretending to be other people. I thought.
Right.
I was waiting to hear your voice.
Yeah, it's me, bro. It's me. I just like that Bugs Bunny. I decided to switch it up a little bit.
Okay,
you know
okay. What's up, man? You got a question for my brother, the Fit Barber?
Yeah, I'm just I'm question / comment / I don't know what it is, but if black people definitely have culture, and it's not the way, or how do I say this? Our culture is unique. We have a very uh, uh, well-defined culture, and it's ugly, but it is our culture. Like, black people in the United States today are essentially degenerate white people. That's what the fuck most of y'all are. And it's not a nice thing to say. It's not pretty. Nobody wants to admit it. But if you're of a certain age, you can look at the condition of our people, and you'll say that we're behaving like degenerate white people. Like, our women right now, the way they act frantic and that little weird shit that they do, they're behaving like white bitches did in the 90s. And if you're old enough, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In our men right now, we're our young men, they're drug addicts. They're behaving like white boys in the fucking 80s. Like, you're out here on coke, you're out here on all kind of drug. We have a culture. You absolutely do, but it's degenerate white culture, and I don't like it. I'm not saying it's cool, but I'm saying it does exist. And I'm not even talking about hip hop. I'm not even gonna like you. To me, if you think hip hop is indicative of the what black culture is, that's another whole nother conversation. It's not. Art imitates life. Life doesn't imitate art. That and I know y'all know about that that conundrum. But when we look at black culture right now, we have a well defined culture. We're as a whole. There's definitely what's the word I'm looking for? There's definitely exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, we degenerate white people. Everything we do is degenerate white behavior. It's it is what it is. We have to accept it for what it is. It's not like you don't have said culture. It's just what it is. And I don't know. I ruffle some
Hold up,
feathers with that
Mudawar. Let me
I
statement.
say,
gotta, I
let
gotta,
me
I feel
say
like I
something
gotta
to my,
interject.
my sister right quick. Hey, not a black, real quick. You say, where's Leandre? Leandre is suspended from appearing on my platform indefinitely. He is a troublemaker. He is a shit starter, and he is suspended indefinitely. So you won't be seeing the light skinned uh troublemaker is what I call him for now on here no time soon. Sorry to tell you. You heard
And
me.
I second that motion. I second that motion. Now
Uh
now
But I wanted to
he
ask.
sabotaged my tournament. Whether he did it on purpose or not, is to be determined, but he won't be on here for a while. So y'all gonna have to kick it on his channel.
right.
I wanted to ask though. And what's brother name that just spoke a little
Mugabe, like
ago?
His Excellency from Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe.
All right,
Mugabe's.
brother. I definitely appreciate your take. That was valuable input, but I strongly disagree. Black people, like I said, we have cancer, not culture, because you spoke of the drug usage. You spoke of our black women being like white women, and you calling it no. We said the black people have culture, and then not only that, if the white boys did the drugs in the 80s and all of whenever they did drugs, but they still have a culture intact. So that's why they run in the world right now. The white women that acted however they acted in the 90s, clueless, whatever, they still in a position of power. Black people, we got cancer, not culture, because we doing the drugs and the women. Black women are the most least married woman in America. A culture is self-protecting. Right now, once again, using the human body, if you get something in your nose, you have a culture of your respiratory system, so you're gonna sneeze it out because that's your body protecting itself. Right now, black people have nothing to sneeze out what is stopping our airway, or what's getting caught up. So we have, because we have no system of protection, we don't have a culture. Like,
But not to cut you off, brother, but you can have a culture of degeneracy.
no,
That nothing says a culture is supposed to be positive and uplifting
it's supposed to be
and
healthy. It's supposed to be
no,
healthy.
nothing says a culture is supposed to be healthy. In
Every other culture is
anthropology,
healthy. Name me
let
an
me say
unhealthy
this, good
outside of
brother.
black people.
Let me
I'm
say
sorry.
this,
Go
good
ahead. Go
brother.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And
So
if we
Mudawar, if I
uh
may, let me ask you a question.
uh
Because you did say that our women are like white women in the 80s or the
no, I
90s.
didn't. I said no, I didn't. I did not. I
Oh,
said black women are like white bitches in the 90s.
okay, okay. I got you. Okay, and
All
and
right.
and, and our young men are like white boys in the
In
80s.
the 80s, dope
Okay,
heads,
right,
just fucking like gnarly dude. That's us now.
right. So with that being said,
With guns though.
don't
Right.
you think don't you feel like you you sort of accentuating the brother point. If we like another people, and that's what we exemplifying as our culture, that would speak to a lack of culture of our own, wouldn't it?
No, it means that it means culture is not what's the word I'm looking for? Culture is not static. Culture, you develop culture by replicating other cultures that you see. This is what we see in
Okay.
anthropology. When you
Okay.
see, if you look at when you go to archaeology and you look at pottery, you'll see the progression of pottery or the digression of pottery. Like the pottery is going to be the same. The things that they did, the writing systems are going to be the same. The clothing systems are going to be the same. It's going to be a progression or a digression. It doesn't mean that somebody is it means that the cultures are moving in a way, and we're moving in a particular way. We're moving like degenerate white people. That's what the fuck
That's
we're
not a
doing.
that's not a culture. Like I said, we black people are trendy. Right now, what you see, the way that you see black people moving, doing these drugs they doing, the young brothers, that's a trend that back in like whenever Lil Wayne start talking about heavy drugs, that's when the streets, and because back when I was in high school, I'm sure when y'all was in school, cats smoked a little weed, drank at
Mm-hmm.
parties. Now
Mm-hmm.
these cats full-fledged dope
Junkies.
fiends,
Yeah.
junkies, right? And that's a trend. That's not that's and then the reason I say a culture has to be something progressive because what are we cultivating? You know, when you think about, like I said, a garden, I can't show you a garden full of dead plants and say, yeah, I'm cultivating. What am I cultivating? You know what I'm saying? And right now, black people, we don't have a culture because right now we don't have an agenda. What's the black agenda? If we have a culture, what is the black agenda?
But
Who's speaking for black people?
that's part
Yeah.
of the
Can I
culture,
can
fam.
I say
What,
something
not
to what
having
the
an agenda, being
can I say
unorganized?
something to what the brother just said?
Go
Go
Can I
ahead.
ahead,
say
Lord
something?
Benu.
When I had the debate, I brought up the etymology of culture, and when you went all the way back to it, it meant to grow. You feel me?
Yeah,
So
cultivate.
what we got right now is not helping us grow. You know what I'm saying? And I want to speak to the point where I agree with Mudawa that what we have is not a culture of our own, but we're imitating somebody else's culture. You know what I'm saying? And that is and proof of that is in some of Nearly Fuller Jr.'s research when he came out and said that black men was going to be wearing dresses and
Dresses. Uh-huh.
dressing like women on all black college campuses, and he predicted it, and they laughed him out of the groups that he was in saying that, and they came to be, and it happened. So it can be predicted, and the reason it could be predicted is because somebody else is orchestrating it, and they're the ones that's putting these things in place for us to do. Like, we being experimented on. That's why we live in projects, and that's why, you know what I'm saying, it's like we running this rat race because we really is in like a maze when somebody experimenting and doing what they want. They cut off welfare and see how people gonna respond
Shame,
and react, and they throw out
shame,
different
shame,
anchors for us to react certain ways. You know what I mean?
shame,
So
shame,
Uh,
shame.
can I get in
No
there
What
one
doubt.
happened?
time, real
What
quick, briefly?
Hey, we got A1 in the building. A1, what you got for us,
what
bro?
happened? Right?
Can you hear me?
What's going on? A
Sir.
one. Let me go ahead. One.
Okay, I'll be real brief,
please,
Brother
A1.
Mutawar. I was just going to say that
Hey,
shout
this
out to the
this this
brothers.
the brother who defeated Lord Benu in that debate, bro.
Okay.
I just wanted
You mean brother that got lucky?
to say shout out to you for coming up, man.
Had to get lucky.
It takes a lot of courage to come up here, you know what I'm saying, and put your ideas and views out and face scrutiny. So definitely salute to you for coming up and doing that. Generally, with all of your ideas, like your in-game ideas and your message, I agree with. It's, it's just little details about the semantics, the definitions that are what everybody else seems to be replying to. To me, that really doesn't matter because I get your message and I get where you're going. And I think we do need to clean up the culture. But to say we don't have one is like it's like a living body without, I don't know, not breathing. Like everything has a culture. You just described how our culture was manipulated, infiltrated, but it's still our culture nonetheless. Like, only a dead body is cultureless. Like anybody living has a practice. And then you described it as trends. Trends become part of the culture once adopted widely and practiced over time. And if they're practiced long enough, they can become ingrained into the fabric of the culture of the people. And if you just study the evolutions of cultures, you will see through admixture how people next to each other blend ideas, blend practices, sciences, things like that. And it's like fashions, like for it to say, well, I won't give any examples. I'll just leave it at that. But I do agree with your underlying and overall message, and we do need to tighten this stuff up. To say like we're not practicing our culture. I mean, it's our culture now because we're practicing it. That's the thing. And so what we can do is get back to the culture of a certain time period, if that's what you would like to do. And then you also gave the example of how black people like attack black women. And then you said until they come into a brother like you or DMG who has some culture. When you say things like that, you admit that, it's around. Everybody isn't clueless, dumb, and lost. What we're doing is making hasty generalizations and trying to cast that shadow over everybody. There's a whole movement out here of people with culture. And what we do is we castigate them and act as if they don't exist. And that's not cool either because they're out here repping hard and trying to push positive black culture. And so we do need to highlight them and stop acting like that's not what's going on. But shout out to you for coming up here, man. You gave a dope presentation. And again,
Right
I'm not
on.
here to nitpick with you or do any of that because, I appreciate you coming up and sharing your thoughts. So,
Right on, right on. I definitely appreciate the feedback. That was, and like I say, much love. But I still gotta, my stance is I still disagree, and not just disagreeing for the sake of rebuttal or nothing like that. Like you said, I think you said every living thing has a culture. That's why I said black people have cancer, not culture, because based on my understanding of what I think I understand about life is it's only one or two things: life and death, yin yang, masculine, feminine. Like it's duality. And right now, when someone has cancer, that's a process of the body starting to break down, and essentially they're gonna die. And that's why I think that black people have cancer, not culture. One more thing I want to add: like there are several brothers and sisters out here pushing the line, uh, trying to establish a culture. However, as a whole, not these little pockets of black people. And that's why I said me and brother DMG have an idea of a sense of culture. Because even like me and my family, we celebrate Kwanzaa or whatever. So it's like that's trying to reestablish a culture for my family. But us as a whole, I also stand on us not having a culture because if something is yours, you own it. Can anybody please give me an example of what black people own from our entertainment, our arts, our music, our food, our education? We own nothing. So if we don't own it, then it's not ours. Like I said, we borrowed it. It can be a way of life that we've adopted. We can adopt a way of life. And then also even with trends are not the same as traditions. Cultures have traditions. That's why America has traditions. I look at it like this. Think about a shirt. A culture is a shirt. The traditions are the buttons on the shirt, keeping it together. Right now, as black people as a whole, we don't have traditions that we acknowledge for generations. And then, like I say, outside of that, what do we own? That matter of fact, before getting on the traditions over trends, can y'all please tell me what do black people own? Import, export, from rap, any of it. What do we own? We don't have ownership of nothing that we think is ours.
I don't think ownership
Anybody
is
got
a
something for him?
stipulation of culture, but
Huh?
I do. But again, like I'm not trying to nitpick with you because I agree with your overall message, and I
Thank you,
think
thank you, thank
like for you to be more reachable, so people wouldn't nitpick with you, it like your phrase is we don't have culture, we have cancer.
you. Yeah.
Instead, maybe things like our culture is a cancer. You see what I'm saying? Like
It's
when you
not well, no, no,
phrase
no,
it a
but let's
certain way, it's like, oh,
but
because we definitely have one.
no,
We
but
own it
back
because we're
step.
practicing
Like
it.
an
Hold on.
And then
oxymoron.
Back step
but
a little no,
I
no,
don't
no.
want to nitpick with you,
Back
and I'm
step.
gonna mute up and get off of here. And shout out to you again for coming up, and I'm gonna just sit back and listen to the rest
No,
of
no,
it.
I was just gonna say because once again, the cancer. No, what my question to the chat? Anybody out there? What do black people have that we own? That's ours. This completely ours. And
Be-
we've adopted a way of life. All of that beyond cancer, whatever. What do we have that's ours that we can say this is us? Can't nobody infiltrate it. We own
But
it.
see that this is
Control
how
it.
culture works.
But
It's called
that's not a
assimilation.
hold on, bro. Hold on. That's not a litmus test for what culture is.
It's
It
not.
That's
is.
something totally different. Hold on, brother, please.
I'm sorry. I'm
If
sorry. Go
and
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want anybody, DMG or anybody that's by a laptop, pull up what culture means in anthropology. We can get the real definition of culture, and there's certain parameters of what creates a culture and what you're saying. And I feel you. I'm not trying to get down on you or anything. I just want you to know that. But what makes culture is not the thing you're saying. What makes culture is another set of things. And hold on, and I'm finna say something right now, and and I know they go. Certain people go love me for what I'm about to say, and certain people go hate me for what I'm about to say.
Uh-oh. It's going to
Christianity
be
is
a
part of black.
Mudawaism. Go
Christianity
ahead.
is part of black culture. Christianity is part of black culture.
Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa, whoa,
Yes,
whoa,
yes,
whoa, whoa,
yes.
whoa,
I know,
whoa.
I know.
Mudawa Mugabe, what did you say?
I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna let you drop a bomb on it this time.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
Christianity is a part of black culture. Period. Our expression of Christianity is not like anyone else. Period. That's we can't deny it. I'm a whole atheist out here, bro. I'm a whole non-believer out here. I'm not a wishy-washy motherfucker. I'm not a fence straddler. I'm a whole non-believer. But I know that the 50 million of us that's in this landmass that we call the United States of America, including but not limited to South America, when you add all of them other motherfuckers, Christianity is part of our culture. And we have to be honest enough to say that. Our version of it. We don't practice Christianity the way white folks do. We don't even speak English the way white folks do. We don't eat the same foods white folks do. We have our own distinct culture, bro. We just
No,
have to be accepting of that. Like it's a bastardized version of somebody else's get down, but nevertheless, it's ours.
we don't. No. Even so. Oh man, like I did.
I know it
I
hurts.
it don't no it don't. I'm not hurt. I'm not hurt. It don't hurt. I once again I always appreciate the input, the ideologies. Uh, Ultimately though, I know you was saying culture and anthropology and all that. That's great. Whatever definition anthropology has for culture. We talking about black people in relations to every other group of people that we share this landmass with called America. We don't have a culture. Every other group has it. Look at what happens if we had a culture, then why is it that we've watched, like we have no system of protection for our women and children? When Obama was in office, you know how many kids we saw get killed, or black men get killed, go viral? What system of protection do we have? We don't see
The
no other
system of
group go
protection
through
is
it.
not part of the system. Not to
It
cut you off, the
is.
system of but listen to what I'm saying, family. Please hear me out. That's why I asked you to bring up the definition. System of protection is not an aspect of culture. It's not. Unfortunately, It's just not. If you look up
Okay.
what culture means in the strict definition, a system of protection is not there. It's not there, bro.
So
So when
when you
you
do look up the definition of culture, is two things, is like different definitions.
it's
They keep
totally different.
switching it around. They put other things in there, but two things that stayed uh
Consistent
in there was the norms and the values.
at norms
So
and
if
values. Excellent.
if black people have a culture, like what is it that they value?
No, 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 not what are your values? Your values are we have a matriarchal society. That's what we have. Most people don't have that. Everybody else here has a patriarchal society except for us. We are at large. Even though I'm an outlier, we have a Christian society.
When
That's what
Mudawar
we
get
have.
done, I want to get B Wash in.
All right. We have a Christian society. That's what we have. Even though that's not me, that's not my paradigm. We that's what we have. We have a society that enjoys fun. We like to party. We like to barbecue. We like to have cookouts. You know, we like people based on how they make us feel. That's our culture. That's why so many of us are, like on Kamala Harris ass right now because she get to dancing and shake some hot sauce on some collard greens, and we just start being like, oh, yeah, that's my girl, right? That's our culture. That's what we do. That's the reason why we do, we have a way about us, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing, but it's the thing that we do, the thing that we are right now in 2024. It's part of our culture. No other group of Africans get down like that. None, not one. But that's us. And I land there.
That like I say, just that last piece you said, I consider that to be the cancer because when you think about and once again, outside of the handful of millionaires that we have, we look at Jay-Z and them and be like, oh man, they billionaires, whatever. When you really think about it, economically, black people have been on a decline. So to say that this way of life that we've adopted is our culture, like that to me, that's a way of life that's been adopted. It's not a culture because nothing productive is coming out of that. Like I get the whole, black people worship different in church. I understand that, but once again, when it comes to ownership, what do black people own and control? When you look at the Mexicans, every other group, Asians, Arabs, East Indians, they taking over the IT sector. They have
But
a culture.
but
Even where I,
ownership is
even where
not
I
part
live
of your
at right now,
culture.
even where
Ownership
my
not
shop
part of
is
your
located,
culture,
Hold,
family.
hold on,
even where
Mudawa, I
my
got you,
shop,
bro. I got you, bro. I got you.
even I was gonna
Let,
say, even where
let them
my
finish.
barber,
Let them finish, Mudawar.
All right.
even where my barbershop is located, I'm in a plaza with a Peruvian restaurant next door. On the other side of there's a Mexican restaurant down here. There's a Thai restaurant down there, like all in the same plaza. And this is a heavy East Indian community out here. When I see the East Indians walking, the men are walking in front of their women. That's part of their culture. When I look at this Thai restaurant, the whole family in there working, Thai people eating the food. I see culture. And to say that black people don't eat what white folks eat, the hip, you know how many black folks I see at Raising Cane's? You know how many black, like we don't eat, we don't even have a cultural food that we eat. We thought soul food, but that was scraps. Like, no, we don't have a culture that we own and it's a productive, we got cancer, not culture. Let's not mistake the two. It's
Well, we
cancer.
don't run that chitlin circuit, Mudawa.
Hold, hold,
I ain't. I'm not. I ain't. I'm
hold,
not.
hold on,
I'm not.
Moody. Moody, I got you,
Let's hear.
bro.
All
Let's hear
right.
from
Go
B
ahead,
Watch.
B.
Let's hear from B Watch.
Hey, y'all gonna have to record this. I'm glad it's recorded because I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna agree with Mudawa with a lot of what he said. Even
Hey,
even
hold
even
on,
before the Christianity thing.
real quick. I feel like I'm in a parallel universe because Mudawar said Christianity was part of black culture.
Absolutely.
Then you said in the chat that you agree with Mudawar, and now you just said it again. And I got it
Yeah,
on record. I want both of
yeah,
y'all to understand. This is being recorded.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah,
stand
All
10
right.
toes down on it.
If we
I'll do you
watch, agree. The
I'll do
black
you one more.
atheist and the black church scholar agree. Hey,
Uh,
fit barber.
Yeah.
I
I
told
do.
you, you make my beard look amazing. You just made two diametrically opposed foes agree.
So DMT, I'm gonna do you one better. I wrote that in the chat before he even said that his quote about Christianity and black culture. I agree with everything Mudawa said. So even
Wow.
before that, I agree with him because one. So let me start back. One, I think terms matter, definitions matter. Definitions are objective, right? And so if you want to know what culture is, as Mudawa even alluded to, you can look at anthropology, for example. They give a great definition. But you can do a simple Google search from any dictionary definition of culture and look at all the things that encase culture. So we have to start there. We can't when we have terms, we can't redefine them based off of how I see it, right? I can't go
Mm-hmm.
around and saying, the sky is red, right? And you'd be like, no, it's blue. Well, I think the color blue is actually red, and you can't tell me wrong because that's just my opinion. Like, no, we have objective colors and objective meanings to certain things. So I think that's important. Number two, when it comes to ownership, like for example, ownership and protection and all these other things, while important, and that's an important conversation to have, those things do not encompass the definition of culture. Neither does a ex
Mm-hmm.
nihilo definition, mean that a people group without any outside influence whatsoever just develops a culture. All people groups develop their culture by within themselves and contact and interrelation with other people groups. I give a prime example here,
Mm-hmm.
and I used this before. I think we all can agree that America has a gun culture. I think
Mm-hmm.
we agree with that. Guns were not invented by Americans. Guns were not invented by Europeans. The gunpowder and all of that was invented by the Chinese, the East Asians. So if we use those definitions, right? But if we can say, "Hey, America has a gun culture," then we have to say, well, then why did the Chinese like not own guns anymore? Like, why don't they control the majority of guns being shipped and made and bullets and et cetera, if they are indeed the inventors of this gunpowder phenomenon, right? And using it as weaponry. So we can't say that. When we talk about food, I heard something said about the way we cook and stuff like that. Well, here's the thing with soul food, right? Soul food, the ingeniousness wasn't the scraps that we were given when we were enslaved as a people. It was the way we prepared the food, that these scraps, we made it so delicate and delicious that you could take something like chitlins or something like
Mm-hmm.
pig feet or something like that, and you can put special amount of herbs, stewing, salt, pepper, etc., and it tastes delicious, right? And so while we shifted from the plantation per se, out of that, the idea of how we prepare and cook our food, we don't have to use necessarily chitlins and pig feet, but we can use other meats and other vegetables all the time. I do it in my community all the time. I teach people you don't have to go and get this other stuff. You can cook mustard greens a certain kind of way with certain herbs and spices, and it's soul food. You don't have to have extra salt and all stuff like that. That can be harmful. It's stuff that you learn. But again, all cultures
Mm-hmm.
have this issue. All cultures have this issue. Another thing that was said about being poor, stuff like that. Let's be real. We understand when black people got to this landmass, we were enslaved. By definition, we were below poverty, because to be in poverty, you have to be a citizen. We weren't citizens. We were property. So to
Mm.
say that,
Say that
like,
again. Say that
oh man,
again, B.
we were
Say that
below
again, B.
citizens. We were property. So to say that, oh man, we come to this poor man, like, no, that, like, this is the situation that we had. What we should be celebrating is that our ingenuity, our culture, from the moment 1865 happened, in less than 50 years, look at the amount of black literacy, black entrepreneurship, black ownership. All these things happened in less than 50 years from a people that, again, by in 1865 were considered cattle, less than human beings, right? And so that's part of our history, our culture, the things we carried on from Africa, from our collective traditions and regions. We all came together in this mosh podge dealing with Europeans, dealing with natives, dealing with the American soul, and we mismatched
Mm.
and came together and it created our
And so
culture,
let me ask
our
let
way
me
of
ask you a
being.
quick question, B. Let me ask you a quick
Yeah.
question, B. So
Hmm.
all of those things that created those people that came from wherever they came from and came to these shores, that do those things at some point start to mold a culture of their own?
Exactly, and this is why most anthropologists see that black culture is an actual thing. It is not like any other culture within the Americas. It is unique. The way we talk, the way we walk, the way we communicate, the way our family household
Mm-hmm.
structure is, even the way we wear clothes. You can take the same textiles, right, and you can give it to other cultures and give it to black people, and it's a certain way that we collectively are going to take these
Can
textiles, right,
can I
and
say
we're going to
something?
hold on. I'm,
Uh,
I'm, I'm almost finished out. I'm almost finished now, and I'll
Well,
be
I
finished.
want to chime in when he get done because he been
And
going
and
for a
then
minute.
oh
Go
yeah, I
ahead.
know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just want to put
No, no,
everything
you
out.
good, you good. But I want to chime in.
But then I'm gonna land right here. I think it's important. I put this in the back chat that, and again, no disrespect to anybody on the panel when I say this. I think that oftentimes when people have divorced themselves from where the majority of black people come from in this country, which is the deep south, South Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi,
Mm,
Alabama, Georgia, Florida,
mm,
South Carolina, when you
mm,
separated yourself, all of a sudden you can come up with the ideas that like I don't know, we got a culture. I promise you, you come down here to Louisiana, you come out here to South Texas, you come out there to
mm.
Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina, parts of Florida, and you say, "Hey, black people got a culture." You gonna live it, breathe it, eat it, everything about it, bro. Like every single thing. You like,
That's
okay,
deep.
yeah, this
That's
is our
deep. I like
culture.
that.
But what happens is
I
when you
like that.
take no disrespect to the Great Migrations, but when we left the Deep South into these other silos, black people became silos in other communities. Then second, third generations later, we're like, oh, where's our culture? All I see is guns and, as the brother said, cancer and stuff like that. I'll tell people, bro, come home for a minute. Come home for a summer. Come on to Jackson, Mississippi if you want to. Come on home to Savannah, Georgia, man. Come on home to Mobile, Alabama, to New Orleans, to Baton Rouge, Shreveport, to Houston, to Galveston, and see your people thriving in the place where their ancestors first placed their feet in this landmass, and you'll see like, man, like hold on, like our culture is way more than just the flash and dash and do we own this and own that. Like it's deeply rooted. And with that, I'm sorry for being long winded. I just had to get all it out. I apologize, brother.
you're
Woo, pass
definitely
Hey,
the
not
bucket
sorry
for
for
my
that.
hey,
man D
That,
Lord
Wash.
Banu, I'm
Please
gonna
pass
get
the
to
bucket.
you.
That was church
Let
up
me
in
let
here.
me go to the Fit Barber first. Let him respond, and then I'm gonna get to you, Lord Banu.
so
Man,
everything that I just heard, and I appreciate the commentary. But one thing that stood out to me, well, a couple of things stood out, but the first thing I'm gonna kind of expound upon, it really helps kind of validate the point that I'm making. You brought up America having a gun culture. What makes America have a gun culture is having groups like the NRA. They have funding, they control it. So that right there is why America has a gun culture. Without having these gun clubs and communities for it, America doesn't have a gun culture without those things in place. So that kind of goes back to my point. And I got family from deep down in Mississippi, all of that. And I love and cherish the way of life that, we have family reunions and all of those things. I love that. But once again, we talking about collectively as a whole, black people having a culture. And right now, once again, I get the like I'll say the different definitions of from anthropology and like whatever the definition is. Once again, it goes back to, and I'm trying to address everything that was said in one look. I ain't trying to get too long winded, but it goes back to my original point. Every other group has systems in place protecting their culture. Even like I said earlier in the chat, black people don't even have communities. So if it's like, how can we have a culture if we don't even have communities? We have hoods. You know what I'm saying? Literally, based on Dr. Claude Anderson, when you look at what he defined the community being able to like feed you, fund you, educate you, house you, and heal you. When I think about those elements, black people don't have it. And we don't have it, definitely don't have it now. I'm not saying that we never had it in America, but definitely right now we don't have it. So we don't have communities. The black family structure has been dismantled for years, for generations. So once again, you know, I always relate things to the human body because I feel like as humanity, we're one body, especially as black people. It's cancer. It's not culture. It's a living thing, but it's destroying itself. So my original point that once again, it does go back to ownership. It goes back to what do we control? We calling it ours, but we don't own it. We don't control it. Like to me, nothing is yours if you don't own it. Right now, like I gave the example of a car. If I give you a vehicle and I let you drive it, I might let you drive it for the life of the car, but it never was yours. So can I mean help me explain from that standpoint? I mean, help me understand from that standpoint, like the
Can I
ownership
can I say
aspect.
can I just make a statement
Go
with
ahead.
what you're saying? With what
Mhm.
you're saying, that means that nobody here in America has culture. That means that everything in America is European culture. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is black people, because when I look at Asians, right now, every city you go to, there's a Chinatown. Right now, like I said, go down. I don't know if you're in St. Louis, but go down to U City. There's a Jewish community in over there, and then
Hey,
not only that, look at the hospital structures. They can
brother
heal each other. You got
Fit
one
Barber.
So
Jewish hospital.
you don't
Hold on, Moody. Hold on,
wait.
Moody. Quick, I got a quick brother Fit Barber. Quick question for you, if you don't mind me asking.
Go ahead.
Um, so would you say like um a restaurant that serves fried rice and noodles with Chinese letters on it, that's part of Asian Chinese culture?
No, no,
Like
no,
you would
no.
agree with
Or
that?
are they eating the food?
Oh yeah, they eat the food. Is their stuff? I'm
Yes,
saying okay.
hold on, hold on.
So
Who owns the restaurant?
them,
Yeah, if they own it, they operate it, and
okay.
they're feeding themselves. Yes,
So
that's part of their
so
culture.
so if I take a loan out tomorrow, I'll get my own money and I open a restaurant and make it the same exact way, but it's just owned by me. Whose culture is it?
And you still selling Chinese food?
Yeah, I'm doing everything that Chinese was doing itself. I just own it. It's mine. Like I own the shop.
That's not their culture.
That
Because once again, you
so
own it. You own it.
I'm not selling their culture. Is what you're saying?
No, 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 no. What I'm saying is it's not theirs now. They're for one, they're not even gonna support it. So I mean,
No,
we
I'm
can't
not
really
saying
make no
I'm
bet
not
on
saying
it.
they got to support it. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I mean, if we recognize, like you just said, that like
But that's
it's their food and
but
their culture.
but bro, that's what I'm saying. Like the
So he
self
talking
healing.
about like
That one
black
restaurant
people.
wouldn't change the fact that it's Chinese restaurants all over the world. Just because you opened up one restaurant wouldn't
Correct.
make you would be participating in Chinese culture, but you would own that restaurant, but you wouldn't be growing your own
Right.
products and making your own chopsticks and make soy sauce and all of that. You would be buying from Chinese wholesalers who control that industry. That's
What
what
if
you
I don't?
lose.
What
Real
if I
quick,
don't buy from Chinese
real quick.
wholesalers?
I just want to give my brother so a real world example here in St. Louis. You familiar with lefties, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So would you consider that Chinese culture with her selling Chinese food the way
Because if
she
I ain't
do?
mistaken, that's the black owned spot.
Right. That's the sister that sell Chinese food.
Now I don't the reason I don't consider that Chinese culture because part of that is a culture has to be defined also by those within it. So with that being said, lefties, I guarantee you don't see a Asian pull up down there because they know that's not their culture.
Right.
Same reason I challenge anybody in the chat. If y'all notice,
Okay.
Asians only drive Toyotas, Hondas. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen a Asian dude that's like from China pull up in a Chevy because culturally he know that don't
I've
support the
seen them in
culture.
BMWs and Mercedes Benz.
You say what?
I've seen them in BMWs and Mercedes
Hey
though.
yo, but hold on. Let me address what y'all was saying before though,
Hold
because
on. Hold on.
because
The
because
DMX cut me
nah,
off,
hold on.
but
DMG said I had after old boy.
no, but I hadn't finished. I was just telling what I was explaining to your brother Fit Brothers that Fit Barber is
Let
that
let let
one
let
can
let
one
mine
can take
respond right
one
quick,
can
Lord.
take a culture one could take a culture, somebody else's culture, and recognize that this food, this delicacy, because Asians eat Asian food, fried rice, all that noodles, all pho, all that stuff. Like that's their food. Like it comes from them. They eat that, right?
Uh-huh.
Even if they make it or put out a restaurant or not. I can take my own concept, purchase a store down the street, do everything that they do. It be black owned, but it's their culture. So the same way that we can see, for example, soul food restaurants. I'm in South Louisiana. We got soul food restaurants every which way, black owned, everything. But guess what? If some white dude wanted to, or Asian person, or Middle Eastern person wanted to purchase a building and wanted to mimic the food that we get, maybe he hired black cooks and cook, oxtails and rice and gravy and fried pork chops and all this stuff, just the way we do it. He owns it, but it's still our culture. Like he just mass producing our culture. So we can see that on a variety of ways. Like we see people, but I see white dudes all the time open up mixed martial arts joints, and we know for a fact that stuff comes from Asia. That's not a
But
dispute.
but the thing is, once again, like even with the thought of a black person opening up a Chinese food spot, it's not their culture because they're not gonna partake in it because they know it's not their culture because it's almost like right now he's selling you a fake pair of Jordans. Like, yeah, they look like Jordans, but they didn't come from the factory, so you know that they're a knockoff. So you not gonna value it. You may, you know what I'm saying? You gonna
Wait,
be like, oh, these ain't real.
how do you? But that's an assumption, though, right? Like you assume that the Asians won't go to that restaurant.
So
Okay,
look,
let me ask you. Did you ever see that movie? I think it was called Good Hair by
I,
Chris Rock.
I mean, that I'm talking about in real life scenarios, brother. Like
No,
if
no, no. It
somebody
was a
owns a
documentary. It was a
spot.
documentary. It was a
No,
documentary.
no, I know what you're talking about. Again, that's when we talk about like definitions. I wouldn't say using stuff like that. I would just say like
so
we
that that
But no, but
We gotta get the
let me
Lord
make my
Manu,
point.
y'all.
yeah, yeah.
hold on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
So
Benu. My bad, brother.
yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on too. Like we keep talking about the definitions of the word, and when we talking about the etymology of the word and what the word originated from is to grow. You feel me? So the things that come from a culture should be things that are growing that culture. You understand what I'm saying? So, and then when you look at how the United Nations define a culture, they say it's the laws, the language, the norms, values, and the habits of
If I may,
people in a group. So these things, these we don't have our own language. We're not making our own laws to help grow us. And even when we're talking about the Chinese restaurant and these things, if we doing it collectively, if we all came together and said, yo, we're gonna open up these chain of Chinese restaurants because the Chinese people been coming in our neighborhood forever selling us chicken wings and fried rice. Now we gonna make it and we gonna sell it ourselves. You feel me? That would be a part of black culture because they would be coming together to do something collectively to grow together, not just something that we participate in. And when the other brothers on the panel give their examples of culture, they go off definition when they say the structures and the beliefs, when they talk about the way they season their food and different things like that, because none of those things have anything to do with what culture is anyway. When we're talking about what culture, the definition of culture actually is, and the oldest definition of it in the etymology is to grow. And if you could show me something in black culture that's in it for us to grow, that we all practice collectively, because if we you can't find every black person or the majority of us that practices something together collectively for us to grow, that we can give a definite example of and show and say, this is our culture and we all agree on this.
if I may, if I may, if I may, peace to the panel. What's popping, everybody? What's going on? What's going on?
Brother
Blessed
Jay
Tuesday.
back.
What's going on? What's going on? Forgive me, I'm slow motion right now. I got a couple drinks in my system, so I'm a little bit slow motion. But I promise I'm gonna keep it quick. I ain't got a lot to say, right? Um, and I asked that nobody cut me off. I promise I ain't gonna be long winded. I'm just gonna operate off of what's already been said. Okay. Given the etymology of the word culture, like Banu stated, right? Given the etymology of the word culture is to grow and to cultivate. I don't know how he's conflating grow as an expansion concerning a specific act when growth is growth, period, and point blank. Case in point, growth concerning rap music growth concerning blues, growth concerning R&B. All of these things were done as a result and at the hands of Black people. We've grown those things collectively, so much so that people have taken on the tones and the influxes in the way that we perform our music in Asian cultures in order to emulate the way that we sound, even down to the dances that we do. Quite literally, we've grown those things so much that they have literally crossed the bounds of the invisible borders and boundaries that keep us restricted within our land masses. That's a fact. This isn't something that's made up. By definition, a culture does not have to be owned in order for it to be shared. I heard the other brother state that it has to be owned, like we got to own it and control it and things of that nature. Well, regardless of whether or not we have our name on it, regardless of whether or not that we're practicing it, and whether or not we're identified by it, if other people practice it, doesn't take away from the fact that we created and grew that thing according to the etymology. Case in point, again, somebody brought up seasoning. I guarantee you, it's not a single Black person that, by majority, if we talking about numbers, right, by majority, that just takes the chicken out the pack, throws the season on it, and then throw it in the pot. We don't do that. Culturally, we clean our meat first, and then we prepare it, season it, etc. And that's something that we share amongst ourselves. The idea that the Black community does not have a culture, to me, is absolutely wild. Now, I will admit, we don't have a culture that we gatekeep that is specifically ours and ours alone, like other cultures. Case in point, and this is not me bagging on any other race or culture in any way, shape, or form. We're not out here. We're not the ones solely eating insects. Case in point, we're not the ones solely eating gefilte fish. We're not the ones solely trying to figure out how to make something kosher. We don't have those types of things expressed within our community outside of what we may see in our media concerning the music. But even in that case, people want to do it, even though they might look down on it. By large majority, they want to express those things. So from where I'm standing, the Black community has a culture. Like, it just does. Whether or not you like it, whether or not you feel like it doesn't fit within your understanding of what a culture is, it's definitively and etymologically a culture. I yield my time. I appreciate y'all. I think this was a dope conversation. Shout out to
Peace.
DMG and the whole Paradigm Shift family. Yo, Byron, you the motherfucking man, fam. Banu, shout out to you. King, I appreciate you coming on. I didn't catch your name. Fit Barber, I think your name is.
Yep,
I
yep.
appreciate you. Y'all have a great night, man.
Peace,
All right,
peace. Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing to what he said. Culture in the etymology, it didn't mean to grow something. It was talking about the people that had it were growing. That's what grew, not the people to grow something for other people to benefit off of. So that's what, like, I think you kind of.
All right, so go ahead, finish, Lord Benu. I gotta get back to the guest of honor.
No, that's just what I was saying. Like, I think he kind of missed the mark on what he was saying. Like, it didn't mean to grow something specifically. It meant the people possess a culture so they can grow.
Got you. Okay, so with that being said, I want to get back to my brother. You heard a lot of detractions. You heard you had one ally up here in my man Lord Benu.
Right
Like I
on.
say, hey Lord Benu, your conversations with Leandre and A1 sparked this conversation. So I hope I want you to know you were the inspiration behind this. So I would
Appreciate it,
love for
man.
you and this brother to get together again and build on your own show. But so
Most
with you
definitely.
hearing the detractions and hearing the brother agreeing with you, what's your final thoughts on where we are as a people with regards to this culture versus cancer conversation, and where do you see it moving forward as far as future interactions go?
My diagnosis still remains: Black people had cancer, not culture. And I appreciate everybody's thoughts and everything, but to me, and even like brother said, like, to cultivate something is growing. when I think about the state of black people, where we at right now, I don't see how we're growing. Even the last brother that got on and spoke, talking about like how the Asians, they partake in our culture, whatever. To me, that's just, they're partaking in our way of life. I always say the only way off the ship is ownership. And right now,
Mm,
it's hard for me to say something is ours that we don't own. And then the reason I bring up protection, because I mean, even let's take it from a home standpoint. If you own your home, you lock your doors. You may even have a burglar alarm. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can just walk into your house, or a stranger can't just come and say, "Hey, this is my house. It's yours." And other than that, I think that right now black people have adopted a way of life. We can even say that we renting this way of life before saying that this is our culture. And when I think about cultivation, and even another reason I say community is important, because when I think about growing something from the ground up, you think about the soil. The soil got to be right for something to grow. Our community is our soil. We don't have good soil. We don't have any soil. You know what I'm saying? So my stance is still is cancer. When I think about, and like I said, you from St. Louis, with the white flight, I love our people, but when the white flight took place and white folks moved from North County out west, black folks moved from the north side to North County. Look at the breakdown in North County. That looked like cancer to me. Cancer spreads throughout the body and it causes destruction. So to me, when I think about the body, the respiratory system, circulatory system, cardiovascular system, all of those systems have protocol to keep the systems function. I still tonight, nobody's answered the question of what systems do we have in place that can keep us moving on the right path. And that's really, that's what my mind is wrapped around. It's cancer. It's not culture. It's not healthy. If something ain't healing you, the root word health is heal. If it don't heal you, it ain't healthy. And so that my diagnosis, man, black folks got cancer. I love us, but
mm.
we got cancer right now, and it's spreading.
So how
It's
how
spreading.
how do we cure it?
I think, you know, right now, honestly, in my opinion, the way that we cure it is not gonna happen in our lifetime. We all have to understand that it's not gonna happen in our lifetime, our kids' lifetime, uh, maybe even their kids' lifetime, because we got to understand the breakdown of the black family structure has been going on for hundreds of years. So we're not gonna fix it in 10, but just like anything else, I kind of think it's good for us. Think about renovating the house. You go in, you knock the walls down, and then you rebuild. I think, I hate to say it, but black people gonna have to, maybe even reach a rock bottom point. Not all of us, but certain parts of us, and then brothers like ourselves that have a somewhat of a like-minded philosophy can establish what our tribe is and how we can provide nutrients to the rest of the black body. But that would be my go-to answer, is like a solution. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be generational, and it's definitely an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle because we behind enemy lines, and right now, a lot of us don't even understand the rules of engagement. So it's definitely it's gonna be a long time coming. Like I said, I don't think we're gonna see it in our lifetimes.
Mm. Got you. All right, real quick. So let's see, Lord Benu. Final thoughts. Try to keep it to under 2 minutes. Lord Benu, you still there? All right. A1, final thoughts. Try to keep it down to 2 minutes.
Gotcha. I can keep it real brief. Again, everything that you're saying, most of the people on this panel agree with. I think that everything that you're stating is just a symptom of how our culture is deteriorated. It's not a symptom that we are lacking one. And anywhere that you have a platform that you're talking about this stuff and talking about, exposing this stuff and bringing it to light, so that way people can see what's going on, so we can help clean this stuff up. Just put it out there so that way I can subscribe and support what you're doing. Um, because at the end of the, I'm not gonna argue semantics with you. We got the same damn goal. We got the same goal. We tired of what we seeing out here. I'm not gonna argue with you about culture or cancer. So shout out to you again for coming up and expressing your ideas and dealing with the scrutiny, because this is you see, that's the hot seat. He
Yeah,
put you in the hot seat. I don't know if he warned
I
you or
like
gave you a disclaimer,
I like
but
it.
I hope to see more of you. And just to give a brief example, it's like gold is universal, right? But they may say it's Italian gold by the designs that they put on it. It's just their expression. And they may say it's German gold by the way that they weave it. But gold is a universal thing. No one owns it, and their cultural expression is what gives it that. And shout out to you, man. And pass the mic. Hopefully Banu back or somebody else. And this was a dope panel, man.
Mugabe, final thoughts. Try to keep it down to 2 minutes. Mugabe, you there? All right. Be Wash. Final thoughts. Try to keep it down to 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'll be brief, man. Appreciate the brother getting on, sharing his opinion. I mean, I'm going to thoroughly disagree, but I do appreciate going there. I think it's important to understand what terms, definitions, our history, and I think as with any people in culture, we have things that we need to work on, that things that are negative, like everybody else. But I also think it's important that we love our people and we know where we come from, where our roots are, what's still with us. In a time when people want to diminish what it means to be black, what it means to have black culture, and attack certain things, I think it's important to highlight what we've done, what we've contributed, what we've led the charge in, and we continue to lead charge. And even if others don't give us credit, we got to give our own self credit uh, for what our ancestors did. So with that, I yield my time.
All right. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. I shout out to the Immaculate Barber, man. Like I appreciate you for being on the panel, man. You came into it's a hot seat, like the brother
Oh yeah.
said. It's a hot seat, and you did exceptionally well by standing your ground. And I don't disagree with anything that you said per se. I might disagree with terminology. What we don't lack culture, we lack unity. That's a huge thing. We don't lack culture. The culture is there. The culture is there. The culture is there. It ain't went nowhere. It ain't went nowhere. What we lack is unity. What we lack is in aggregation of our efforts to do something better. That doesn't mean that we don't have a culture. It just means that we're not saying to ourselves, okay, how do we move forward? And like I say, y- your assessment when you call it a cancer, yeah, I can't disagree with that because a lot of it is negative. Like I said, it's like I think that we're degenerate white people. Like I'll say that again. I'll say that, I'll shout it on the mountaintop. And brother Thomas Sowell, brother Thomas Sowell, if y'all not familiar with him, he wrote a piece a few years ago, and his piece was called Black Rednecks. It was something to that effect. It was something calling black people the way a lot of our people behave is we behave like white trash. In the band, this is a well-respected brother that was an economist for several years. A lot of people in our community, we behave in that manner, and I'm not saying that that's the totality of us, but I think that yes, we have that aspect of us, but we also have other aspects of us that are trying to achieve a level of greatness, a level of dignity, and we can't diminish that. You know what I mean? We can't diminish the fact that there's people in our community that say, okay, yeah, okay, we get looked at in this certain light, but we're trying to move in a different direction. And at the same time, eating some collard greens. At the same time, eating some fried chicken. At the same time, eating some watermelon. At the same time, listening to some Mahalia Jackson. At the same time, listening to some Tupac. At the same time, doing all the things that are uniquely ours. You know, it doesn't diminish who we are. You know, it just means that we just have to take our culture as it is and move it in a more defined, aggregated manner. And that defined, aggregated manner, in my opinion, is to be more unified. Not saying that we don't have a culture. And I land the plane.
Hey, Mudawa, I'm looking at you sideways, brother, because as much as you can't stand the Slim Reaper, the fact that you and him both read Thomas Sowell, uh, black rednecks and white liberals, I'm looking at you sideways, brother. I mean, I'm looking at you
Hey,
sideways.
hey, DMG, that's a 2 for 2 tonight on Moodle part. That's 2 for 2.
I'm feeling the way. Like I feel like the Fit Barber is the great unifier on Paradigm TV 314. Man, he bringing out the secrets that all y'all be looking at the same stuff. So with that
Absolutely.
being
We
said,
just looking at it from different angles. That's all.
yeah. So I got you on the Summer Jam screen, man. So close this out, man.
Oh man. Yeah, I definitely just want to say first and foremost, thanks again, brother DMG, for having me on. I definitely got to do this again. I appreciate it. Y'all said it was a hot seat. I like the hot seat because I like the debate. But nah, it was definitely all good input. I definitely enjoyed discussions and panels like this. So nah, definitely, man. Much love to everybody, man. I appreciate everybody tapping in tonight. Definitely.
All right, man. Let them know if you got social media, your Instagram, anything like that, where they can follow you or whatever the case may be.
Okay, yeah, I'm on Instagram. I'm MC the Fit Barber. That's MC_DA_ Fit Barber. That's really my only platform I utilize. And then shout out to my other brothers up here in the shop, J Lark the Barber, Kitchen Cuts. So just wanted to get a whole shop a shout out, Infinite Results. So yeah, that's where we at. So right on. I definitely appreciate it.
If I'm ever in St. Louis, man, I'm gonna come through for at least a lineup, brother. At least a
Man,
line.
a line up in the debate. We got it, man. A line up in the debate. We got it.
Hey, Mudawa, I know you ain't the type to pay attention to another man's facial hair, but one week you'll see me with a beard and a 5 o'clock shadow the next, and then a goatee. The reason being is because I kept jacking my stuff up. The
Oh
reason
shit.
my beard been consistent for the last couple of months is because I discovered this brother. So,
Oh, he
hey,
the one been getting you right. He the one
he
been
been
getting
getting
you
me
right.
right, bro. He been getting me right. So my wife is happy. My daughters is happy because they hate when I be having what they call the booty face. So I'm one of them. If it ain't right, I shave it all off. So
Right.
my sons and my daughters and my wife, everybody in the house is happy that I ain't looking like a PDF file. So
Yeah, bro got you right though. Bro got you right. I see you.
I
You you
definitely
you you
appreciate
on you on you on the GD head right now. You own it.
So yeah, man, we definitely gonna have you back, and we have a lot to talk about when I come through Saturday for sure.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait.
No doubt. And hey, if you in the St. Louis area, definitely check out my man at Infinite Styles. They get me and my son right every week. Definitely appreciate those brothers. So hey, and A1, man, start putting your link to your channel in the chat, man. We got to start pushing your channel. A1 putting out some nice information. Had a nice presentation over on the whole effort show today. Definitely support that, brother.
Okay.
A1 in the building.
Yes, sir. All right, family.
That Mudawa interview coming up soon, y'all. So stay tuned for that.
For
Yes,
sure,
sir.
for sure. All right, family. So tomorrow we got the brother who defeated Vocab Malone right here on this channel a few weeks ago in a debate on whether or not the Mosaic laws should be applied to the New Testament. He will be back tomorrow with his own Takeover Tuesday. The brother Nathan Israel will be back tomorrow. We welcoming him into the Paradigm Shift universe. So he'll be back tomorrow. Right now, it was all about the Fit Barber. He will be back in the future. Salute to that brother. We are headed out. I'm going to leave y'all with Neo Love. Humbly I endure. Till next time, family, y'all know what it is. We'll be black at it. It's Paradigm Shift TV 314. It's your brother DMG. We out. That's peace.
Yeah. I know I got about 30 seconds to make y'all feel this before y'all turn it off these days. That I might not even release here. But I be doing this shit for me, help me get through. I feel like I give until I can't, but most don't recognize it till I ain't. Blood on them covers, she hoping paint. Sorry mama, but it ain't. This world took a toll on me, and everyone that say they love me always seem to follow me. The same one that call me great, treat me like I ain't shit. I read between the lines, it's written all over your eyes. I see the disappointment in the eyes of the ones who want me dead, but I ain't never been scared, I tried to get there. Sometimes I wonder if I survived or did I die on that ride to that hospital. Demons all around me, I am not mental. This game of life, it is not